Donald Trump's unannounced Christmas visit to United States troops in Iraq succeeded as a morale-boosting exercise. Judging from the standing ovation the president got, equally, and perhaps predictably, the trip had its controversial moments. Mr. Trump's travel to Al-Asad Air Base, west of Baghdad, to thank armed forces personnel for what they had achieved in Iraq against Islamic State, the Sunni Muslim militant group, during his tenure as Commander-in-Chief. 2 years ago, when I became president, they were a very dominant group. Today, they are not so dominant anymore. Great job. We are no longer the suckers, folks, he said. We are respected again as a nation. Mr. Trump was accompanied by First Lady Melania Trump on the first trip of his presidency to a war zone. The couple walked amid troops, posing for selfies and signing autographs. More than 5,000 United States troops remain in Iraq to train unadvised local forces, who are fighting what remains of is following a string of victories last year. Fiction. The president also announced that he had secured a sizable pay increase for our troops. Some of his advisers had suggested 2, 3 or 4%, he said, adding that he had made clear that this was not enough. I said, no, make it 10%. Make it more than 10%. Because it's been a long time. It's been more than 10 years. But as a number of United States commentators noted, armed forces personnel have in fact received a pay rise in each of the past 10 years. The increase for 2019, approved by Congress and signed by the President in August, will be
6%.
It is the largest rise for troops since 2010, but not significantly more than last year's
4%.
President Trump was due to meet Iraqi Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi during the trip, but the talks were cancelled over what Mr. Modi's office called disagreements over organization. Iraqi MPs told Reuters news agency that Mr. Trump had asked for the meeting to take place at the Al-Asad military base, an offer declined by the Prime Minister. When asked if he had had concerns about the visit, Mr. Trump told reporters, absolutely. I had concerns for the institution of the presidency, not for myself. Personally, I had concerns for the First Lady. I will tell you, Mr. Modi's office said United States officials had given Iraq advance notice of the presidential visit, but powerful local figures clearly took umbrage. Safa al-Saudi, who leads the Shia Muslim parliamentary bloc ILA, called it a blatant violation of Iraq's sovereignty. Qais al-Khazali, commander of Ansarullah al-Haq, Iraq's most powerful Shia Muslim militia, also objected to the trip. He warned in a tweet that Parliament would respond to the visit by forcing the United States troops to leave Iraq. 2 Scandinavian women tourists have been found dead in Morocco, with cords to their necks, the country's interior ministry said. Both bodies were found near the town of Imleo in the High Atlas mountain range, near the foot of North Africa's highest peak, Mount Tepco. The women, from Denmark and Norway respectively, have not yet been named. A police investigation has been launched into their deaths, the Interior Ministry statement said. A popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park, in eastern Hainan province said it would waive the $9.65 yuan ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Meng, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones. shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei's success and bliss." The offer would last until 29 December. The South China Morning Post reported, but it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a bar in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday, https://QQXL19YPQLPIC. Twitter.com Sokolov. End of Twitter post by @LuOceanG. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products. A few days ago, Manpad Shenzhen-based LED display manufacturer offered subsidies to any employees buying Huawei phones. It also pledged to fine anyone who bought an Apple iPhone. United States prosecutors alleged Ms. Man
46
used a Huawei subsidiary called Skycom to evade sanctions on Iran between 2009 and 2014. They also allege she publicly misrepresented Skycom as being a separate company from Huawei, and that she deceived banks about the true relationship between the two companies. Ms. Man, who is the daughter of Huawei's founder, has denied any wrongdoing and said she will contest the allegations. Life of Huawei's high-flying errors. The United States has been investigating the Chinese telecoms giant, the world's second-largest smartphone maker, since 2016, believing that it used Skycom to bring United States manufacturing equipment and millions of dollars in transactions to Iran in violation of sanctions. Ms. Man's detention comes amid an increasingly acrimonious trade dispute between Washington and Beijing. China is angry at her detention, saying she has not violated any laws. Beijing has threatened severe consequences unless Canada releases the executive. Since her arrest, 2 Canadians, a former diplomat and a businessman, have been detained in China on suspicion of harming national security. United States President Donald Trump said last week that he might intervene in the United States Justice Department's case against Ms. Man if it would serve national security interests. I'll help achieve a trade deal with China if I think it's good for what will be certainly the largest trade deal ever made, which is a very important thing. What's good for national security? I would certainly intervene if I thought it was necessary, he told Reuters news agency. Canada reacted by urging Mr. Trump not to politicize the situation. Our extradition partners should not seek to politicize the extradition process or use it for ends other than the pursuit of justice, Foreign Minister Chrystia Freeland said. 2 Scandinavian women tourists have been found dead in Morocco, with cords to their necks, the country's interior ministry said. Both bodies were found near the town of Imleo in the High Atlas mountain range, near the foot of North Africa's highest peak, Mount Tepco. The women, from Denmark and Norway respectively, have not yet been named. A police investigation has been launched into their deaths, the Interior Ministry statement said. The United States military says it has killed 62 fighters from the Islamist group Al-Shabaab in 6 airstrikes in Somalia. 4 airstrikes on Saturday killed 32 militants, and a further 2 on Sunday killed 28, it said in a statement. These were the deadliest air attacks in Somalia since November 2017, when the United States said it had killed 100 militants. Somalia has seen a sharp increase in the number of airstrikes and casualties since President Donald Trump took office in the United States. In January 2017, a tally by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism reveals that at least 400 people have been killed in airstrikes since the beginning of 2017, far more than the previous 10 years combined. The latest strikes bring to at least 40 the number carried out in Somalia so far this year, compared with 35 recorded in 2017. The United States has a huge military base in neighboring Djibouti, from where it launches attacks on the militants. Mr. Trump gave the United States military greater authority in March 2017 to attack militants in Somalia. Traditionally, United States presidents have been wary of intervening in Somalia since special forces soldiers died fighting militias in the capital Mogadishu in 1993.